everyone, welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. Tis I, Captain Logan, and joining me as always is my wonderful chat moderator and producer, DJ Martinez. Welcome back, sir.
Hello.
How's it going?
We're doing it again.
It's good to see you. It feels like it's been like 16 years since I last saw you.
It's way too long, man. No more breaks.
Oh, I can't take any more breaks. It's like, Cap, you and your infernal vacations, stop it. You got a job to do.
No,
we can't define that job. We don't understand what it is, but you got to do it. Just get your butt in that seat and press the stream button.
Oh, that's all you do, right? That's all you can. That's
all I do. Yeah, it feels like it with this show. Anyway, everybody, thanks so much for being here. I see lots of folks here live already. It is very exciting, of course, to be back doing our Tuesday, Thursday thing again. Thought we'd come back with just a regular Ask Me Anything show tonight instead of a commentary or anything. Of course, Tuesdays we've been doing random things. Sometimes we'll do one of these. Sometimes we do commentaries. We've only done one episode so far, DJ, of Streaming Wars. We need to try to do another one of those at some point because that was a great deal of fun. But I thought we'd just do an hour or more of chatting with you guys. I had to start a little bit late tonight, so I'm not going to want to go too much past an hour if I can help it, but I, of course, never want to make that statement because things can sometimes get crazy. So ask me anything. We're not going to have a lead story tonight or anything. We're just going to jump right into questions as always, and especially if you've never been here and done this with us before and you're watching live right now. First of all, welcome to episode 114, the very monumental number, 114. And if you want to make sure that your question or your comment is read and talked about on air, you can leave us a super chat in any dollar amount, and that of course helps keep the train running here on Geekvolution. We sure appreciate everybody's support, anybody that's ever done that, but we'll get to as many pre-written questions as possible as well. Just tag DJ in your live questions and comments, and then he'll know that those are things that are meant to be looked at by us on the live show. Can't promise that we'll get to anything like everything, but we will do our level best. I also want to mention that sometime in the not too distant future, DJ and I are going to do some shows. We haven't figured out exactly how we're doing this yet, but we're going to do some shows about old questions from weeks and months and even a year back that we never got around to. DJ has kept a big, long backlog, and we have a bunch of cool stuff to go back and get to, so you may have asked something a million years ago that we'll actually get chatted about at some point on one of these. So we're going to figure that out soon. Also, I want to mention that here in the next week, and probably not any later than that, we're going to lose DJ more than likely for at least a show or two because his wife is very close to delivering. So congratulations to you, DJ. Hope all that works out wonderfully well for you. I'm very excited for you. DJ has one child already. He's got a boy. He's got a girl coming, and I'm just stoked for you, buddy. And also, we can't be friends anymore because I've wanted a girl every time, and I've got 3 kids and never got a girl. So
this is my farewell show. It's banning me from the show.
Yeah, so both congratulations and you suck.
Hey, not my fault, man. I can't control what I make.
I feel that way myself sometimes. Let's go ahead and start jumping right into questions, shall we? DJ, what do you see first? Let's maybe start with something pre-written and then start jumping into some of the super chats.
Yeah, we got tons of pre-written, so I'm going to blow through these as fast as I can. First one in the chat was from Cinematographic.
Yeah.
He says, Captain DJ, does Clock Stoppers count as a science fiction rewind movie any more than Peter Parker counts as a metahuman? Whoa, weird comparison.
Yeah. So I guess I have to start off by saying I've not seen Clock Stoppers, so I don't know what exact category that would fall into until I've actually watched it. All I know is the premise. Science fiction is a really loose category, so as long as what makes the time travel happen is not a fantasy element, if it's not magic, but it's supposedly science, even if it's really loose and it's not really explained, it would fall into the category of science fiction. It may be very light science fiction, but it would be light science fiction. I don't really know what the metahuman Peter Parker comparison is about there.
Those things.
I mean, and also, as far as these are going to be kind of two separate responses because they sound like two separate questions to me. But the whole Spider-Man as a metahuman thing, if he was in the DC universe, he would indeed be considered a metahuman, because all that means is you're an advanced person with powers that you got in any way you got them. It's not like the mutant thing at Marvel where you have to be born with those powers. Spider-Man at DC would be considered a metahuman. In Marvel, as far as I'm aware, metahuman's not even a term that we bandy about. So I'm not totally sure what you're talking about with that, but yeah. So I'm assuming Clockstoppers counts, even if only very loosely,
definitely.
as a science fiction film.
Clockstoppers is about the way you can actually, it's not really stopping time, but the person who's wearing the watch, it speeds up their molecules so fast that like they move at a faster speed and like you can't see them. So it's definitely sci-fi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next to the question. What else we got?
We got from. That's a movie I grew up with.
Yeah.
Blue Dragon 5.
Well, we should. Can I say this real quick? We should
sure.
go ahead and watch that soon for streaming wars, I'm thinking. I mean, like, when it's, and I don't know whose turn it is to pick next, because the way we got the first one was a viewer, but like, don't feel like you have to pick it next when it's your turn, but I feel like at some point you should pick that, because that's a movie that is streaming currently that you've seen and I have not.
Yeah, sure. It's on. Is it on HBO Max? Is that what it's on?
I think it was HBO Max. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Because I want to see it because it's directed by Jonathan Frakes. And I, for some reason, didn't end up watching it when I was a kid. But yeah, that was his debut directing gig after First Contact. So he directed that was his first movie, and he got that job because he directed a lot of episodes of Next Generation, and those movies, of course, were run by the same people that were making the TV show. So they get into the movie scene and don't really know what they're doing because they've not made movies before. So they get Generations out of the way, and it feels like a big screen TV episode, and it's not great. And then they make First Contact, and it's actually a summer blockbuster, and Frakes had a lot to do with why it was as much fun as it was. A lot of things in that movie that don't make any sense, but it is definitely one of the most entertaining Star Trek films. I love it. It's great. So anyway.
Okay, well, if you're definitely prepared for that movie then, because there's probably a lot of things that don't make sense, and it is a TV movie, so you're ready.
No, Clockstoppers isn't a TV movie. That went in the theaters.
Did it really? I thought it was a Nickelodeon movie.
No, that's it. I think it was Nickelodeon film. They had already a film arm at that point.
Okay.
Almost positive that went to the theater.
That makes. I'm not going to say that makes sense, but
Frakes' commentary on First Contact is hilarious, by the way, because he's constantly talking about how Star Trek fans want like big giant action and explosions in Star Trek movies, and he's like, so anytime anything explodes, he goes, "Yeah, that's what you came here for, right? That's what you want." And I'm like, I mean, I liked your movie, but no. It cracks me up.
All right. So Blue Dragon 5's here. Welcome.
Hi there.
Welcome back. Thoughts on Kevin Smith doing an animated Green Hornet series inspired by BTAS?
I'm sorry, say that again. I was looking at comments. I apologize.
He says, thoughts on Kevin Smith doing an animated Green Hornet series inspired by BTAS?
Is that happening? Was that announced? Sometimes people say thoughts on when they really mean, would you like this to happen? If that's actually
a specific thing.
If that's actually happening, that's awesome. He would be. I feel like I'm surprised if I didn't hear about that. If that's actually happening, I bet he's just saying, is that a thing you'd like to see? He would be one of the couple of guys that I would think of for that project. He is, of course, kind of known for his Green Hornet comics work. He wrote a movie at one point that didn't end up getting made, and then got turned into a comic that a lot of people liked. I've not read past the first issue or two of that, so at some point I need to go back and reread that. And then he has a really wordy crossover with Green Hornet and 66 Batman, which is decent, but is just way too much of a slog. I don't know. I don't think a 60s Batman comic should take half an hour to read by itself. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know. That's a good idea to me. Oh, it did get announced. Wow. Yeah. That's pretty cool. I'll be curious to see how that works out. He's never shown on anything like that, as far as I know. I mean, I know there's like a Clerks animated series for like there real briefly for a minute. And a lot of people like to talk about how Kevin Smith is not the guy he used to be, and I feel that way sometimes too. Like, you know, I can't think of a less mean way to put this, but people like to say that he's kind of a sellout now, when he used to be, you know, so much more about independent filmmaking and stuff, and now he kind of just acts like he likes anything that he's kind of, you know, paid to endorse when he's, you know, talking about DC and stuff. So I'm wondering if his writing is with that kind of a thing, with like a license thing, would be affected at all by that phenomenon that people, and I agree largely with it, have noticed with him that he's you know, just not quite the guy he used to be. People haven't liked his movies for a long time, but I don't watch his films, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's because they're mainstream. I think he still makes what he wants to make, from what I've heard. I haven't seen his movies either, but
no, I'm not saying it's
weird.
because he's. Yeah, I'm not saying that his movies are bad because they're too mainstream now, but there could be certainly a correlation between like. Could you get more creatively bankrupt because of some of that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So I don't know. What else you got?
I got from TH1. I recently watched both Bill and Ted's for the first time. Do you think Bill and Ted is an exciting adventure or a bogus journey? AKA, what do you think of them? Also, I like how he said his question a different way so I could understand it better. Also,
he's being cute because of titles.
Trailer.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what?
And then he said also thoughts on Face the Music trailer. So what do you think of the first two movies, and what's your thoughts on the trailer for the new one?
So I hate to disappoint, but I'm not going to have a lot to say about this. I saw the first movie years ago when it was on Netflix, finally, and liked it fine. I thought it was funny. Enjoyed it a lot. I agree with people that say that its time travel is weirdly smart compared to some other time travel movies, considering what it is and how much of kind of a farce it is. I've never seen that sequel. I need to sit down and finally watch that. Keanu Reeves seems very excited about that third movie, and everything he's said about it makes me kind of excited about it. It sounds like a passion project. I'll be really surprised if they screw that up, as hard as they worked to make it happen in the first place. I know a lot of these decades later sequels don't end up working out and aren't very good and end up being just kind of cash grabs. This does not sound like it, like one of those just in the inception of it in the first place. So I think there's reason to hope and think that could be pretty great and fun. I didn't realize the trailer had dropped, so I also have nothing to say about that. We are not going to do a live trailer reaction right now because I want to get through as many questions tonight as possible. Go ahead, DJ. Maybe we'll do one on Thursday. Go ahead.
I have actually seen that trailer, and I haven't seen any of the other first two movies.
Oh, you saw the trailer?
Yeah, I was so lost.
Does it look good?
I had no idea what was happening. I don't know. I have nothing to compare it to.
Okay.
Logan Dodd, favorite non-captain Star Trek character, and then who's the best Star Trek villain after Khan?
Wow, great questions. We do a Star Trek a show on Monday. I have more Star Trek guys there also talking about this with me. So my favorite Star Trek character that's not a captain is probably Seven of Nine. I love Seven of Nine. I mean, not that character called Seven of Nine in Picard. That is not 7 of 9 anymore. But I don't know. That is probably still my answer. And then villain besides Khan. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the Borg collectively. It's hard not to kind of jump on the. I guess I just really like the Borg ultimately, even despite a lot of kind of retconning things that happen with them. But I love Q also, despite some of the retconning issues with that. A lot of Star Trek villains end up kind of getting their teeth taken away or turned into something not as great later, which makes that a difficult question to answer. But there's kind of some other cool like one-off villains. Like the first thing that comes to mind, because I've been watching a lot of Voyager lately, is Arturis from Hope and Fear, the guy that wants revenge on Janeway for not letting Species 8472 destroy the Borg, where he's not he doesn't want revenge on the Borg themselves because he says they're just a force of nature, but he thinks Janeway's to blame. That's a cool notion. I love Trelane from the Squire of Gothos in original series. Yeah, I don't know. I could go on. It's hard to pick one, and there's like, lore is cool, but we never did enough with him. Like, yeah, so I don't know. I can go on and on, but anyway.
It's all Greek to me.
Yeah. What else you got?
Marcel, do you think we're in a sci-fi dark age? The well-known series Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, etc. have gone downhill in quality, and in some cases, the people behind them have turned on the fans. It's from William Parcell.
I think, yeah, thanks for the question. I think we are in, and this has been coming up a lot lately for obvious reasons. I think we are in a long-running, like licensed property dark age. I wouldn't call it a science fiction dark age because there's a lot of really great science fiction stuff allegedly on television right now. I haven't been watching very much of it because I've been busy. I still need to catch up on The Expanse. So there's a whole bunch of things, and then stuff that I'll hear about that I didn't even realize was a sci-fi thing in the first place and is. Amusingly, you could make the argument that we are, while in maybe a science fiction television renaissance, also in a dark age of a different kind because so many of those series are relentlessly dark. So like a good dark age. But yeah, I think like rebooted and bringing back sci-fi properties that are just made by people and just genre stuff in general. If we're in a dark age, it's genre property dark age, and it's just giving the reins to people who aren't there for the right reasons and don't care as much about the ideas and characters behind a franchise, the things that made fans passionate about it in the first place. I don't mean you have to just keep creating more of the same, but it ought to be, at least in the spirit of the thing that it was in the first place. With Star Trek, arguably, Star Wars as well, with certain people involved in that. Doctor Who, to some degree, from at least what I have heard people saying about that show, because I haven't watched the most recent iteration with the female Doctor past that pilot, which I thought was okay, but everybody says it goes downhill from there. It seems like you've got a lot of people coming in and making shows that don't actually really, to echo what you said, care about the property itself, but are really just there to make some kind of political statement or espouse some sort of a point that they would make in any platform, but they just got lucky to get a thing that people were there for in the first place, and then in all these cases, they seem to be running people off who aren't there for that. So, as I'm always saying, because I keep getting stuck in this circle of having to talk about this and explain myself to people who don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not saying that you can't make, within those franchises, and especially Star Trek, which was mostly, in the first place with TOS, a whole bunch of morality plays in the first place. I'm not saying that your story should never have a moral, and I'm not saying that you can't ever, make a political statement in a thing, but it shouldn't be only that. That shouldn't be a crutch. Your story still needs to be good. The characters still need to be sympathetic in some way. I still need to care about what's happening to people, and I think that you're in a bad place if you make a thing and it's easy to say, well, you just didn't like it because you didn't like what it was preaching. So if that's all it's about, let's just write essays then. Why are we telling stories? Why are we making fiction? If you're gonna do one, you gotta do both. Unless that's the initial point of a thing in the first place. But then it's not literary. Then it's a different thing. So anyway. It is impossible to get that question without sounding soapboxy, but...
Nicely done. Jacob May, which is a name I don't immediately recognize, gives us a super chat, asks us,
Hi there.
Great question. Hey Cap, have you heard of the new Indonesian super film? I don't know how to pronounce it, but I want to pronounce it Gundala because that sounds like what Casey Jones...
I was going to say Gundala!
Gundala! So yeah, it's the Gundala or Gundala. It's supposed to kick off a new superhero cinematic universe.
No, I've not heard about that.
Him up.
Yeah.
It looks pretty cool. He's got like a red suit with like a makeshift mask with like goggles like New Goblin from Spider-Man 3, and he's got like wings on the side of his head.
How do you spell it?
Gundala. Gundala. Gundala, maybe Gundala.
Oh, interesting. He's got almost like a, here, let me pull this up. It's almost like kind of a Flash suit.
He's got like armor. Yeah, he's got
it's very Flash-esque. Yeah, weird. Okay. Well, I don't know anything about this, but I will try to check it out when did that come out? 2019, I guess it came out last year. No, I have not heard about that.
Yeah, I haven't heard about it either, but thanks for letting us know, Jacob, and welcome if you're new or
No, I know that name. I don't think he's been to a lot of live shows though.
Okay. Cool. Well,
yeah, apparently that was a comic over there in the first place. But yeah, I don't know anything about that. Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. I don't know the premise or anything. I would have to sit here and do research. So anyway, we'll have to move on. But yeah, I'll take a look at that. I'll look into that.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us for this reaction video to a costume in a picture.
Tyler Overall. My reaction is, that's interesting. There's a lot of rain.
Tyler Overall. Hey, Cap.
Yeah.
I got some old Spider-Man comics recently. Who's your favorite Spidey artist? Mine is Romita Sr., but I also appreciate McFarlane. Well,
mine remains McFarlane. I've always said that. What happened? You all right?
Hit my toes on my table.
Oh,
sorry.
Well, are you in pain?
No, I'm good.
You gonna make it?
I do have a lot of poison ivy all over me that I got this weekend.
Oh no, that sucks.
So it's not fun. So if I'm looking like I'm trying not to scratch my skin off the entire show, that's why.
Because you are. Yeah, okay, so Gundala is an Indonesian superhero film based on a character created in 1969, and it is set in a Javanese city. What is Javanese? Oh, Java, the city, the place of Java. Well, nothing's ever set there. That's why it's Indonesian. Okay, I was like, what is that? Is that made up? Oh, no, I've heard of that place. Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at the synopsis and trying to figure out what this guy's even about.
Yeah, I started watching the trailer a little bit. He has like super strength, but also lightning powers, so I was really confused.
Oh, okay. Oh, so the lightning isn't just because it's raining and it's dramatic. That actually has something to do with his power.
No, like somebody threw an axe at him, and he went, ah! Because he didn't know he had powers yet, and then he like shot lightning, and somehow the axe disappeared. I don't know. It seemed pretty intense.
Okay, weird. Yeah, I'm just not finding anything about the comics readily on Wikipedia, so I'm not getting an immediate sense of what this is. Okay, I'm gonna look into that more. But yes, McFarlane's my answer to that. I guess my big runner-up after that would be, my head's not in this place right now, the guy who drew Kraven's Last Hunt. That'd be the next one.
Okay. Next up is Azim. Welcome, Azim.
Hi, Azim. Good to see you, man.
Oh, this is great. This is
Mike Zeck, of course. Yeah, he's probably second or third on my list.
Sweet. This is awesome because we get a similar question to this a lot, but he put a nice spin on it. So, which unmade superhero film should get the animated treatment? Burton's Superman Lives, Cameron's Spider-Man, or Miller's Justice League Mortal? So a film that was in the works, didn't get made, and we're going to remake it, or make it for the first time in animated.
Yeah, those are the big three. I mean, there's other, like, unmade scripts that would be cool to see, but it would be nice to get out in front of the ones that were, like, in pre-production and got cast and were even, like, making costumes and stuff first, because we have movies that very nearly got made and didn't. So, of course, Superman Lives is the first one that I would want. It's weird now because we've already had 2 animated Death of Superman movies. I mean, I guess 3, but yeah, that 2-part one, and I don't like either of them.
This one would have a character model that looks like Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, which would be crazy. And there's like animated storyboards that they did in the documentary about that, so it's already it's already gotten close to that treatment anyway. So yeah, that of course is my answer, but I mean, it'd be cool to see like Green Arrow Supermax and the like the 5th iteration of Burton/Schumacher's Batman, that fifth movie that was supposed to have Harley Quinn. That would be a cool thing to make. So yeah, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them, but I can't help but say Superman Lives just because that's the one that most, well, like it was coming very much together before it got shut down.
I think we should go with the Snyder's Justice League.
Just so that we don't have to see it in live action? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think it would be more work to actually make it an animation than it would be just to put out the
yeah, what? DJ's like, I'm going to pick a thing that I know we're getting already. I just don't want it that way for some reason. Okay.
At least it'd be different. TH1.
Somebody said Hellboy 3. I don't know if there was ever a script for that, but doing that comic book thing where we go back to a canceled franchise and finally wrap it up in animation is a separate idea, but that's a really cool thing that we ought to be doing as well, I think.
Yeah.
And I think there would be a lot of interest in all those things. Bring back that cast for voice cast for Hellboy. That'd be great.
Oh, and I'm glad this came up tonight. So TH1 asks, Disney just announced that Mulan will be $30 to rent on Disney+. Thoughts? Will you cop or not? Your channel is awesome. Who's replacing DJ while he's on leave?
I'm not sure. We may just be out that week, or I may bring in a guest. I haven't decided yet. I may use that as an excuse to have a whole week of posting some backlog videos, which I keep threatening to do, but I haven't gotten around to yet. And I wanted to do that on vacation, but I was out of town and stuff and just wasn't able to get them edited. Anyway, DJ, it's very complicated because with Mulan.
I know, because you really want to see it.
Because I really want to see it, and I really want to review it. And if it weren't for the reviewing thing, I could probably... It would be a lot easier to say, yeah, I'm just going to wait because I'm not going to pay that. I see both sides to this. It is really easy to immediately jump to... Disney is a really greedy, like, big, giant, evil corporation that could, clearly survive just fine, even as much of a blow as they'll take from not being able to put a $200 million movie in the theater. They're gonna be okay. They've got Marvel Studios, and you saw what Endgame did last year. They're gonna be fine. But on the other hand, yeah, they did make a $200 million movie that they can't put in theaters, and if I'm them, I'm between a rock and a hard place on that. Having said that, $30 is insane. It's just 8 shades of ridiculous that it's that much. A lot of movies that have gone straight to video that were supposed to go into the theater have been $20, which is also more money than I want to spend to have to watch a thing that I know is going to be reduced in price in probably just a couple of months. But whether I'm okay with that, with paying that myself, there's at least been kind of a standard set lately that if you do that, that's around the price that you're going to have to pay if you want to see it the week it comes out. I guess an argument you could make for it is, well, you're paying a premium to see it right away. These companies do need to recoup their costs some, and you don't have to take the whole family to the theater, so you're saving money if you weren't going to the movies by yourself, even though you're not getting that experience, you're not getting to see them large. Like, I can see like 2/3 of that argument. But the problem with it for me is because you have that standard, I don't know why Disney gets to hike it $10. And I don't understand why it's on Disney Plus. That's a mistake. You shouldn't have to pay a premium to watch a thing on a streaming service you're already paying for. It should just be on the other platforms that are already set up for this, right? Because just from a business standpoint of not confusing people, it's like they're taking a page out of the HBO Max book where it's like, let's confuse all of our customers. The good news is Disney Plus. Yeah. People are only going to read the good news. They're not going to go far enough to see $30 premium. Don't say it's on Disney Plus. Because the problem with that, too, is... So wait, you're saying that I have to already be paying for a subscription to you before I can pay $30 to see your film? What? No, that's That's preposterous. It should be $20, and it should be on Amazon and AMC and every other place. Now, I realize that Amazon Prime also... well, no, they don't have this. You don't have to be an Amazon Prime member to rent movies on Amazon. So they're not even doing that. They just have everything kind of mixed, where if you are paying for Amazon Prime, you can watch their free stuff, and then they have stuff that you can pay for. But, like, I don't know. Are you with me on this, DJ? I don't like it.
Yeah, I see both sides too, like you're saying, but yeah, it's a lot for one person. If you were going to even if you were taking one kid to the theater with you and your wife, or like 3 people, it makes sense. But yeah, like for single people who are just trying to watch a movie by themselves, it's a bummer.
And that's a great point everybody's making. OAW and others. I could see $30 to own, but to rent?
Yeah. Well, it's basically, I mean, someone else was talking about this. I don't know where it was, maybe the Discord, but someone was saying it's the same thing that they do with like ESPN to watch like a pay-per-view, like UFC fight or something. It's like $60 for one of those to watch. But so it's like, yeah, it's kind of like that kind of old TV model where you have to pay-per-view just to watch it once and then you're done.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between this and something like that, though. That's a thing that you're paying a premium for to get to watch live, so it's almost like you're paying for a ticket, but you don't actually get to be there. This is a movie that is going to be available to own shortly after this happens. They're obviously doing this to try to recoup those costs because they really don't want to do this, clearly. I don't need to read any further into this to know that. You don't go $30 on a platform you're already paying for. And it took them forever to finally decide, put their hands in the air, okay, the government's not allowing us to herd people into movie theaters right now. We've got to do something. It should be $20. It should be on regular rental platforms, or as OAW suggested, it should be to own. I still don't think it should be $30, even if it's to own. And they should just put out the Blu-rays and DVDs right away. Just do it all at once. Is my thinking. Or if not that, at least have a cheaper rental and then put out your Blu-rays in a couple months. But yeah.
Yeah. If only there was any way that they could. There's no possible way that they can control how many people watch it once you rent it. They can't sell tickets that way.
Yeah,
because you could just pile over like, oh, watch party. I only paid $8 because I'm one person, but then everyone comes over and watches it.
How many people are going to find a way when they pay that $30 to get to make it so that everyone they know gets to watch theirs and doesn't have to pay for it? Yeah. OAW makes another really good point. He's really on top of things. He says, just push it back. Almost every other studio is doing that. Yeah. And the thing is, you don't know how far they have
such a
to push it back.
Schedule. Yeah,
they're going to the reason they're not doing that, I bet, is to what you were saying, I think. They're going to have to compete with themselves at some point.
They have so much stuff. Like, Disney at all times has so much stuff, lined up to come out. They have their schedule planned out forever, so they're
Are they testing the waters with this to see if they can get away with it with everything else? Because I would think they'd also be doing it with Black Widow, which was supposed to have come out just, I think, 3 weeks after Mulan, yeah? If memory serves. So.
Daniel Davis brings us another good point. They don't want to spend more promotional money on it. Yeah, they've been advertising it for 2 years now, and then they'd have to basically start back over if they waited a year to.
That's a good point too, and it's going to be interesting to see how Warner's handles that with Wonder Woman 1984, because you can still go out and buy bags of chips with that on it, and we couldn't go see the movies. So
they're going to be expired by the time the movie comes
out. Yes, absolutely. Some of them probably are already. They've been out a while. Anyway,
that's a huge bummer, man, because the advertising is as much as the movie, and then it's all pretty much for naught at this point.
Because
people are going to forget about it.
Well, and I don't think people are even thinking about it, even seeing it in their face like that right now, because they have other things to do and to think about, and they can't go to the theater. So when you see, Wonder Woman or, whatever else was supposed to come out that's on, candy bars and, bags of chips and cereal and stuff, and toys come out and stuff, you're either thinking, like me, oh yeah, Wonder Woman movie was supposed to come out. That's a bummer. We got to wait until the end of the year now, or whenever it finally comes out. Or you're thinking, Oh yeah, Wonder Woman. That's a thing that's popular right now. Like, you're not even thinking about new things that you can watch. Nobody, I bet, is thinking, oh, I wonder if that's available to stream anywhere yet. You know, like
Yeah.
your general audiences have forgot movies come out.
Yeah.
It's been so long. We've gotten so, this is the new normal. We've gotten so used to not going to the theater. And here's the thing. I review these things as my job, and I have fallen into that myself. I have gotten really used to, we don't get new things anymore. And I have kind of been enjoying that because it's given me time to go back and look at some old stuff and just kind of catch my breath a little bit. Because we were so, like, massively inundated with stuff, I'm going to actually be excited about new things when new things come out again, which I wasn't for a long time because that was the norm, right? It was just like every week there's something hitting you in the face that you either want to see or everybody's telling you you're supposed to, or in my case I have to for my job. And I don't mean to say that I don't enjoy what I do, but it can be overwhelming, right? I mean, we talk about this all the time, but even the superhero stuff, if all I'm looking at is superhero, I can't keep up with all of it.
Yeah, I've loved this little break. Like I'm almost through my rewatch of Umbrella Academy season 1 because the second season just dropped, and me and my wife are just casually going through it. So it's
oh wow, is that already dropped? That's crazy.
Jam it in. Yeah, it dropped July 31st, I think.
All right, well, let me know when you finish that, and I'll binge it, and we'll finally talk about it if you want to. Mutale, Cap's wish for a break between Phase 3 and 4 kind of came true. Yeah, and I think they'll be for the better for it. I still stand behind that.
Yeah, that's really cool that worked out.
I still stand by that. And it's funny because, like, the COVID could have happened
the problem is
4 weeks later, and we would have all seen Black Widow. Like, it's really interesting that it really is between the phases.
But the problem is the first movie in Phase 4 isn't really a Phase 4 movie because it's a prequel that fits in.
No, it's
somewhere.
No, it's not. But it may wet people's palates for Marvel again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Starting that. I don't love that that's a prequel necessarily. Like, we've not seen it yet. Which is weird because we should have months ago. But like, you know, I might end up being very happy with their telling that story when they're telling it. I still, at the moment, not having seen it, feel like it was kind of a counterintuitive choice, and it feels like a movie that they're making retroactively that they should have made, you know, back after Civil War when it's taking place. That's when they should have made this movie. But starting with something familiar after you haven't been in that world for a while for general audiences is ultimately going to be smart. But it's not actually the strategy that they were doing on purpose because we just had Marvel movies not too long before that. So it's going to be a happy accident if I'm right about it and it ends up being served well by it. I don't think, even if I am right about that, I'm going to be able to pat myself on the back and say I told you so to anybody because for a while, as soon as movies start coming out, you're going to see a lot of things making more money than it would have in the first place because people get to go out of their house and have something to do now. We're seeing that with baseball. I mean, like, there's so many people watching baseball that never used to care about that because sports are finally on again. And it's been the only sport you can watch, basically, since it came back. Record numbers of baseball viewership. Like 13 million people watching baseball or something. Whatever the number was.
It's so creepy though, with nobody in the stands, and then like these cardboard cutouts of people.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, have you not watched it?
No, I know. I keep meaning to. Have you heard what's happening with? Is it basketball that they're doing this, or something else? I don't remember if it's the NBA or who it is, but one of them. I mean, I think those are the only two sports even happening right now. One of the major sports is making all of their players live in Disney World.
What? That's amazing.
They're like keeping them in a bubble so that they can't get COVID, and if they did, they can't pass it. So that's what they're calling it. They're calling it the bubble, and they have to stay in Disney World when they're not playing when they're not playing basketball.
Man, if they didn't have the life already, now they're just.
When I heard that, I thought it must have been a joke. The world has been an Onion article since well before the virus, but if it wasn't before, it definitely is now. Yes!
Oh, man.
It is true! Yeah, OAW, that's the NBA bubble in Orlando. I just hope the rides are running, you know? Like, it would be really sucky if you had to live in Disney World, but Disney World was closed. Like, no, open it for the NBA. Let those guys hang out and have fun in Disney World. Why not?
That's crazy.
They'll go to, make sure they still go to practice, and then between practice, they can play in Disney World. Sorry, what?
No, I was saying, I guess that would be kind of the worst thing ever, to be in Disney World all the time but not be able to do anything.
it also, people are making comments and jokes right now, like Matthew Bass says Under the Dome, and Alex Barron says we're living in a satire. Yeah, I agree. Like, it's very telling that when I heard this news, first of all, that I hadn't heard it before. You'd think that everybody would be talking about that as seeming like a really bizarre, almost like, dystopian kind of thing. I'm not saying it's really dystopian, but, the sorts of things that, like, only happen in dystopian novels, where it's like, we take an entire group of people and it sounds like Escape from New York, only happier, you know what I mean? Like, we take all these people, we put them in one area, and they can't leave. And, like, I heard about it, like, just nonchalantly in a podcast I was listening to, and not, like, people I know talking about it. People aren't, like, people aren't talking about this, really? I mean, maybe they are, and just in my circles I haven't heard about it, but, like, I don't know. I feel like 20 years ago this happens, and it's the thing everyone's talking about. Like, it's really telling that this is not weirding people out, because of what this year has been like. It's like... We have all adjusted in very interesting ways.
Yeah, humans adapt quickly, man. It just took 2020 to get us. Oh man. I mean, did you see that giant, crazy, like alien-looking explosion that just happened in Beirut today?
No, what is that? What are you talking about?
Yesterday. I have no idea. There was this giant explosion that like killed a bunch of people, but it like comes out of nowhere and it just like vaporizes everything. It's crazy. I don't know what it is. Look.
And you're talking about something that actually happened and not another dystopian TV show, right?
Yes, I'm talking about real life. Someone said it to me at work today. I don't know. We'll look at it later. Anyway, William Parcell.
We really are living in not just the future, but a science fiction novel written in the 1950s. Anyway, all right, go ahead.
Have you seen Batwoman? Tried to get into it, but their version of the main character was such a terrible person, I dropped out.
Yeah, we reviewed the first 3 episodes, Dan's and I, on Batmosphere, and it was better than I expected, but that wasn't saying very much. No, I didn't love it. But I didn't hate it like I thought I would. A real strong recommendation and endorsement from me. I heard nothing but mediocre and then bad things about the rest of the season. I have no interest in going back to it, especially now that Ruby Rose is out and they're replacing her with not just another actress, but a completely different character. Who cares if it's not that character? But yeah, I don't know. It was real lackluster. It didn't have a following. People didn't care about it in the first place, and it sucks because that is a great thing to potentially adapt. And I don't know. We're more than like running out of steam is the nice way of putting it with the CW superhero shows. I mean, I think it's been time to put that multiverse to bed. Since almost before they decided it was a multiverse. Like, I think it's been bad for that long. But then, like, if it's possible to jump the shark 6 times, it did. Like, it jumps a shark, and then you have to adjust to, okay, if you're going to keep watching it, like, this is, I guess it's just going to be this bad, and I'll just try to, like, enjoy it for what I can enjoy it for, and then you get used to that, and then it manages to jump a shark yet again. That universe has done that 6 times. Shouldn't be possible, but it is.
The old 6 shark jump. Patent pending. Azim is back. All he says is, Shazam is thematically all over the place, in my opinion.
Oh, interesting. I can't speak to that right away because I saw it once in the theater. I've not gone back to it, and I don't without talking to you and having a discourse. I don't immediately know why you think that it's thematically all over the place. But I need to spend more time with it, so I'm just not prepared to discuss that.
Yeah, me neither. I've only seen it once.
I don't remember having that thought when I was watching it, but I thought thematically it was pretty, and story-wise in general it was pretty cohesive. But I don't want to try to review a thing I saw one time like a year ago, so that I've already reviewed.
Yeah. Anthony Cabrera, what do you think about the new Batman Death in the Family film that lets you decide if Jason lives or not and goes back to Under the Red Hood?
What now? What are we talking about? This is a thing?
It's like a choose your own adventure DC animated movie.
It's an animated movie. When did that come out?
Don't know if it's out. Maybe they're working on it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
Say.
I feel like I heard rumblings about something with Jason Todd recently with an animated movie, but maybe this is what it was. That sounds potentially awesome. I want to be stoked for that. That's a really cool idea. Yeah, you do a choose your own adventure thing, and you get to see like multiple endings where like you go back to the mid '80s, and when the fans got, I almost said when we got to vote. I was 3. I didn't know about it. When the fans got to vote, are we gonna kill him or not? And then you get to experience that 30 years later in an animated movie. Yeah, that sounds awesome. If both endings are written well.
The trailer.
There is a trailer? Okay, yeah, I'll definitely take a look. Guys, I've been a little bit out of the loop. I've been out of town and unplugged because you got to do that sometimes. And so there's a lot of things that have kind of passed me by that I didn't know about. I'm surprised nobody sent me that, though.
That's why we're here, man. This is our catch-up week. We got to catch up. All the stuff we missed. They said, Wooly says they brought back the Under the Red Hood cast, which is awesome.
Oh, fascinating. I wonder if it's written by the same guy. Crazy.
It's coming out physically in October, inspired by the toll-free Robin.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about.
Comic. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I am suddenly just over the moon about that. I can't wait for that. So yeah, Eric and I will definitely try to watch that together and talk about it. That's really exciting. Okay, cool.
I like that it's not just. I mean, it is probably a gimmick, but I like that it's something that it goes well with. Like the concept makes perfect sense for that property.
It is kind of gimmicky, but the whole Jason Todd death thing starts from a gimmicky place in the first place. So it's almost like know your comic history, kids. Now it's I guess the glass half empty part of me has to look at that and say they're going back to the well of movies that actually performed and that people have critically liked because so many of their animated movies haven't been, real well received. And it would be easy to go, oh, look, they're out of ideas. They got to go back to Under the Red Hood because that's the one everybody talks about. And bringing back the cast maybe speaks to that. But at the same time, if you're going to do that material again, you did it so well in the first place that would be the cast to bring in, unless you were doing it a completely different way. I wonder if it's going to more or less watch like a prequel to that movie, because we only get a very tiny flashback. Like, that movie's not about Death in the Family. It's about a Robin that comes back because he died, but it doesn't tell that story. But if it has multiple endings, then it's difficult. It would be difficult even with the same cast, and even if it was animated exactly the same way, I've not seen the trailer yet, to call it a prequel, because it's different depending on how you watch it, right? So how do you make that canon with anything?
Roger Lee, have you watched or planning to watch the new Netflix Transformers series? This first 6-episode season was quite good, with some great takes on these classic G1 characters, particularly Megatron.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me about that. I saw that it dropped. I'm going to try to watch it when I get a chance and do a quick how I felt about review for it.
Nice.
We watched the trailer on Life here together, and DJ and I both thought it looked really cool, but I haven't seen it yet. So
cool. Next up, Anthony Cabrera, back again. Will you see New Mutants in theaters on the 28th?
Oh, is that when it's going in the theater? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I'm just not sure yet. How I'm gonna handle theaters reopening and try and review stuff. And I didn't know that. I wish that was coming to streaming. I honestly think it would do better that way.
Yeah, why are they sending that to theaters?
I don't know. And it's Disney doing it because they own it now. So they're putting that in the theater, but not Mulan, just because it can't get as wide of a release because there are theaters that won't open yet. Is that what's going on? Or because they have to open third or a fourth capacity or however they're doing that. Again, I'm out of the loop. The last thing I heard on this was theaters, when they do reopen, aren't going to be able to open all their seats. They'll have to have 2 or 3 in between, like a lot of restaurants are doing. So yeah, DJ, I don't really want to go to the theater right now.
Yeah, not really.
I really don't. Partly because it's just going to be awkward. I don't want to wear a mask watching a movie. Just stuff like that doesn't sound like fun. And then also, and like, you know, having to wear a mask in public and stuff's not a big deal. It's just sitting there trying to watch a movie for 2 hours in a stuffy room. Like, I don't want to die. That doesn't sound like fun to me. And then also it may be harder to get a seat if you have to if you can't have as many people in the theater. Although probably not for that movie. I bet even with you know, two or three seats blocked off, I won't have any problem getting in there and could be the only person in the theater.
Yeah, you wouldn't even need to wear your mask because you'd be the only one. Oh,
Kellen says actually Disney releasing New Mutants in theaters makes sense. I'd love to know your argument for that. Like why? Because I just don't immediately really get it. Tyler says New Mutants is going to be Old Mutants by the time it gets an actual release. Yep.
Old man mutants.
I am really curious to see it.
Game Station 3.
Yeah.
This is a easy one. You can. Well, it's only you know the answer. So, is the BVS Superhero Rewind ever coming out?
Yes.
Definitely yes.
I guess that's all I'm gonna say about that. Well, because whenever we talk about BVS now, I have to immediately start thinking about the fact that we're sort of getting more material in that continuity, you know, as Snyder saw it, sort of with the Snyder Cut. The big thing I can't decide is if I'm going to review the theatrical version of Justice League on a rewind before or after that drops. I know it's been a good long time since I put any rewinds out. I've got plans. I'm not going to talk about it yet, but I have plans. I don't know how I'm going to handle that, because if I try to get Justice League out before that drops, then I have to do BVS before I do Justice League. So I mean, I don't have to, but I will.
Yeah, that'd be hard to do that.
And I would love to review Wonder Woman before I got to Justice League also, but I haven't done all the MCU movies in order either. So I mean, like, it's not a big deal. I don't have to do that, but
yeah. All right, Lucas Green for Cap and DJ. If we got a Batman Beyond live action with Michael Keaton as Bruce, who would you like to play Terry and Derek Powers / Blight?
Oh man, I'm terrible at fan casting. That is yet another character like everybody that is so easy to just say Bryan Cranston, because Bryan Cranston can play anybody. As far as Powers goes, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying Terry.
No, not Terry. Not Terry. I'm talking about Blight. But I mean, you know, there's a lot of older guys that look good in suits that could be, you know, the foil for elderly Bruce Wayne. I don't know, like who's a great kind of, you know, like hot teen actor right now. I don't know. I'm just kind of out of the loop with stuff. No, yeah, OAW says Terry should be an unknown. I think so too. And that's the thing is, whenever, and I don't mean to cop out with the fan casting thing, but it's difficult for me because I'm not watching everything that's on right now, and so I just don't know who some of the up-and-comers are. And B, I don't generally like really recognizable, you know, actors playing, like super iconic roles like that usually. And I mean, like, there are lots of exceptions where it works fine. I do like the casting of Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange ultimately. And he disappears enough in that, partly because he doesn't sound like himself. But there's, but I don't know. It's just, there's a part of me that every time somebody asks that, I have that exact reaction, which is, but I don't want to know who they are. How many?
How I like it.
Tyler, Bryan Cranston is Alexander Knox. He is the one who knocks. Brilliant. How many more? Say my name. Knox. How many more super chats do we have, DJ? We're already coming up on an hour here.
3 at the moment.
Okay, great. We are not in bad shape then. Let's go ahead and do another pre-written and then get those super chats knocked out. We got about 7-8 minutes before we hit the hour.
All right. My thoughts on sorry, we already talked about that. Some of these pre-writtens we covered in super chat, so I'm having to skim down a little bit. Thoughts on Spider-Man being a playable character in the Avengers game, but only on the Sony exclusive?
Oh, that's weird.
That's from Utale. Wow,
Yeah,
I hadn't heard
I
that.
hadn't. I hadn't heard that. That's very strange.
It's Spider-Man is it's so weird. Like the whole thing where like he couldn't be in the trailers for Civil War, so they like removed him from the trailer. Like the rights with Spider-Man have always been so Sony's so weird.
And I'm sick of trying to understand them.
It's impossible.
It's getting irritating. Yeah, it's like copyright law. I'm giving up.
Different movie universes going on at the same time with some actors. Ugh, it's crazy.
Well, I guess my kind of patent answer is Spider-Man doesn't need to be an Avenger, so he shouldn't be in the game regardless. Just get him out of that. Like, we have a really good Spider-Man game and probably franchise moving forward. If that Miles game is good, and so we already get to play him in really good material. Why does he need to be in the Avengers game, even in the exclusive Sony side? Like, if it's like like an extra side mission thing or like his own campaign or something, that could be kind of cool. Like, I guess I wouldn't mind Sony gives you DLC that you can buy on top of an already full game. Obviously, the game needs to feel complete. It would suck if it didn't, and then if you're playing it on Xbox, you feel like you got an incomplete game just because you can't play as Spider-Man. But if it's like extra material like they did with the Arkham games with some of the, like hour or two extra, kind of like mini pseudo campaigns, I wouldn't mind that. So, and I guess I don't know what exactly it is that they're doing, but I don't know.
Yeah, it can't be too important to the overall game if it's going to be taken out or not in the other ones.
Yeah.
And but I especially also I don't like him as an Avenger either, but especially in that game where the main story is revolving around another teenage superhero.
Yeah.
With
basically
Marvel,
female
so
Spider-Man. Like,
yeah, we don't need that's a double beat. Right, next up from Azim again.
I mean, real quick. Having said that, I guess I'm glad that I am these days a PlayStation guy because at least I'll be able to play that stuff so that when people ask me about it, I can talk about it. So, like, I'm glad that that's the platform that owns it. I just got lucky that that's the thing I ended up with was PlayStation instead of Xbox. But anyway, sorry, good.
So this is Azim. He's talking about the explosion thing I mentioned earlier. He says the Brood explosion was like a mini atomic bomb. Such a tragedy.
What?
My love goes out to everyone over there, especially to my family, whom I hope are safe. Wow.
Oh, goodness.
Sorry, Azim, to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrifying. If you watch the videos, I saw a couple different angles of it. It's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, goodness. I sure hope your family's okay. I'm sorry to hear that. When you say mini atomic bomb, you mean like somebody set something that went off?
Someone was saying earlier that it was like a chemical thing in a warehouse that had just been sitting there for a long. So that's why the explosion looks so weird. There's like no fire in it. It just like.
That's horrifying.
All you see is like a big smoke cloud, and it just like.
No, I've not looked at news at all today, and I hadn't. Most of my news comes from people sending me messages on Facebook saying, "Did you hear about this?" I'm like, "No, I didn't." Oh my goodness. So yeah, boy, Zim, I don't know what else to say. I hope your family's okay, man.
Yeah, definitely. Game Station 3.
Yeah.
Short and sweet. Please review League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Okay, eventually I shall. Like I said, I got planned rewinds hopefully in the not too distant future. That's all I'll say at the moment.
It's a really cool prosthetic Mr. Hyde suit in that movie. That's all I remember about it.
I really thought you were about to make some kind of joke about like me wearing prosthetics or something. I had no idea where you were going. That's like, Kat, that's a really great prosthetic face you're wearing. Looks just like you.
All right, and then last.
Oh, there's a Samurai Jack coming out for the game for PS4. I didn't know that, Kellen. See, I only do this show so that I can learn things. That's why I'm here.
Have you bought that Samurai game yet for PS4?
No, I want to. There's a guy in the Discord that was hyping that up, and it looks fantastic. I really want to play it. I honestly forgot all about it until just now. I'm glad you brought that up again because he was talking about that a week ago, and I was out of town, and I was like, "Ooh, when I get back in town, I'm gonna buy that." And I've not bought that yet.
It's like sold out everywhere. My wife tried to buy it for me.
Last
week. Nobody has it for a couple months. So if you can find it, definitely.
Daniel says I don't pay attention to the news. Well, I try some. There's the fact that the news is extremely depressing, and I don't always know what I can even trust as like real facts from anyone. That's an issue, and I don't mean to sound super cynical when I say that, but I think a lot of us can probably agree, right? That in this day and age, it's hard to always know who's got all the facts, not just the spin issue, but like just what you're leaving out, right? So I'm skeptical of a lot of things. And then also, I'm just busy, and I'm just not always looking at the news. So yeah, I should be more informed.
I'm with you, man. I'm exact same boat. TH1 says it was a nitrate warehouse. Nitrate is a key ingredient in explosive.
Wow.
Explosives, be excellent to each other and party on, which is a Bill and Ted thing, which I learned from the trailer for the third movie, having not seen the first two.
Simographic, you can't have your headphones in all the time when you have 3 kids, man. Like you just can't. If I lived by myself, I probably would also have my headphones in a lot more often.
Yeah. And then the final super chat of the night, $20 super chat, Lucas Green. Thank you so much, sir. For Arkham fans, I discovered that Arkham Manor is a connective link between the trilogy. Arkham Manor takes place on Asylum, the room foreshadowing City. It contains the cell where Jason is tortured and unmasking of the Batman.
Wow, interesting. I never really thought of that. I mean, it's very clearly not set in the same universe, but those are interesting connections. I don't know how much of that is intended. And I mean, the things that you're referencing are things that are also, kind of in regular Batman comics. So like, it doesn't really have to have anything to do with those games. But yeah, I don't know. I always thought Arkham Manor could have been in interesting kind of smaller side game, but like you can't make it too long, DJ, because it's just Wayne Manor. So, like, there's no making that as big as Arkham Asylum to have an entire video game happen in it.
Arkham Man. Yeah, that would be weird. I still haven't played any of those. I gotta get on.
Oh, have you not? Wow.
I played like a few minutes of Arkham Asylum way back when it came out, and I could get into it.
We should have another super chat from Tom.
Mr. Tom? Oh, I read that one. That was the Nitrate Warehouse one.
Oh, you already read. Okay. Somebody said we had another one that we missed, but
he was probably talking about that one because I said that the $20 one was the last one, but that one came in after. But I just read it. I read it first.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. All right.
To leave us on an Arkham note. Apparently.
Sure. Well, everybody, thanks a lot for watching. I think we're going to go ahead and call it a night. We're right at an hour, and we never managed to actually end remotely on time, so I think we're going to take the opportunity to do that. Thanks a lot for being here, everybody. Hope you had a good time. We certainly did. We'll see you again on Thursday night at 7 Central, same wasn't tonight, Cap's time, same Cap channel, and we'll talk about whatever big major thing might come up in the next couple of days, or we'll just do another Ask Me Anything show. I don't think we'll do a big theme show unless I come up with something cool between now and then, but there were, as always, a lot more questions we could have answered, so we'll probably just do another one of these, assuming that DJ is able to make it. So anyway, everybody, thanks a bunch for being here. We will see you again next time, and got lots more stuff coming for you soon. I am back full throttle on the channel. I'll have a Comic Vault request for you tomorrow, and that is the video on Harleen, which was requested a couple weeks ago from a super chat goal. So, by John Ty, who didn't make it tonight. So anyway, that comes out tomorrow. So look forward to that. And in the meantime, I was Captain Logan, and that is DJ Martinez. Later, folks.
See you later, guys.